the biggest jobs that I had to do was actually identify land to grow on in the first place. So a lot of my day-to-day role was finding out where I could set up land use agreements in the first place. I was very lucky when I joined because there had already been a refurbishment of a farmhouse manor, and to that end there was a piece of land just waiting for somebody to go and do something with.
It's very difficult to create a kitchen garden in this environment simply because there's so much stone underneath the topsoil.
When I first came along, that's when they asked about raised beds. I couldn't imagine that we needed 36 tonnes of soil to fill these raised beds. And when we first started, we had about 3 volunteers to help. I was thinking, we're not going to get this done in a week. But Foodie officer went and found a wonderful volunteer group and done an absolutely outstanding job in the most horrendous rain I could imagine.
It was quite exciting in a way to see it happen, and if it wasn't for the Foodie programme it wouldn't have happened, to be honest. But for us to see the raised beds arrive in itself was an exciting time. Well, we did quite a bit of research into the kind of crops the manor would have grown through various periods in time. So we looked at the medieval period, Victorian period and World War II. We sort of focused on the kind of crops we felt that we could manage ourselves, grow ourselves and see what contribution we can make to the overall Foodie programme.
The help that Foodie has done with regards to finding grants and organising events and training and stuff like that, I think that has helped shape the group into a much better group than what it would have been if Foodie wasn't here. So it was good having a worker on site to point them in the right direction and to give them a different perspective sometimes.
People love it. They come here and it's part of the attractions of the manor now, as people walk around the kitchen gardens and see what's being grown, and they teach their children what these vegetables are, you know, so it's quite exciting from that perspective.
Because we now got the Llanyrafon Manor market here once a month, it brings in a lot more people to the actual grounds here, and when the people are in and out the market like we got now, there are people walking around. It's nice to see, so now they're coming down here, they can see what's being done here, they can see how easy it is, they can speak to volunteers, they can speak to whoever. It's showing people how easy it is to do things, I guess.
We just finished ours, haven't we?
I think in Torfaen you've got a history of loss of industry, loss of community through the loss of industry, a lot of loss of unity of families as well, as people have moved away from the area, so it's become quite isolated in many ways. So there was a need for something to happen where people were being re-educated to grow in the way that their grandfathers had and had always been part of the community but had disappeared. And there's also a great need to reunite that community and get neighbours to speak to each other, and this was a fantastic tool.
People are quite wasteful when it comes to food, so it's nice to see how it is actually done. And you think, well, I think when you do that, when you see how it's actually done, you waste less and you look after it more, and then you appreciate it more. And then that can spread from just growing a beetroot to looking after your garden. That can go to improving your street, improving your local park, your neighbourhood, and hopefully at some point they'll start improving the world.